In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Caitlin Clark and explain to you why I believe that she is already the greatest basketball player of all time for the WNBA. There's a lot of things that she does on the court that is very special, and we as guys and girls can learn from her and basically improve our game. Caitlin Clark is absolutely amazing. Let's get down. Let's check her out really quickly. If you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away like Caitlin Clark, make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below. Also, if you like the idea of me writing on this app, the app is called Coach Lens, and it's down in the description below as well. Okay, so right after this made basket that the other team made, watch what Caitlin Clark is able to do. She gets that ball inbound and she pushes the ball down court as fast as possible. Now, why you would want to do this is because it puts pressure on the defense, and by putting pressure on the defense, they're going to be having miscommunication, and it's going to be leaving players who are absolutely wide open for players like Caitlin Clark herself to be able to get the pass through and get the easy layup. This happens a lot if you are to put pressure on the defense as Caitlin Clark does. Now, I'm not going to lie. This right here, in my opinion, is a moving screen. Now, while they may not call this at most levels, if the player who is running down court is moving and the ball handler is trying to weave her way through to try and use that player as a screen, as we see right here, especially if we rewind just a bit right here and that player right here squares her shoulders up to that defender, doesn't have her feet set, and she's still moving, that to me is a offensive foul. But that's me. They didn't call it that way, and the referee was right there. But either way, what we need to learn from is the fact that this defender went underneath that screen, and that allowed Caitlin Clark to be able to pull that shot, because anytime that your player goes underneath a screen, you have created the gap that you need to be able to pull this shot, and Caitlin Clark is an absolute beast from the three-point line. Now, while some may say this is ball hogging, I 100% disagree. Right now, Caitlin Clark is being guarded by a much slower defender than herself being an offensive player. Right here, Caitlin Clark is able to get her shoulders lower than that defender's shoulders, which gives her the advantage to be able to get past that player and then get her left shoulder, in this case, in front of the chest of that defensive player. This now gives her the angle to the basket, and that's exactly how we see her finish right there. Now, this outstretched finger roll layup, she's actually jumping in the air and falling at the exact same time. Sometimes you need to be able to risk your body to be able to make these layups, and that's exactly what we see right here with her crashing out into the pads. Now, sometimes being able to have good basketball IQ is a very big plus and bonus, but also to have teammates right here who also have really high IQs. So, for example, right here, Caitlin Clark is attacking down this left side, and this defender thinks that this is going to be most likely a dribble handoff because this defender is not looking at the ball and looking at her player that she is guarding, which is a massive mistake because now she's not in position to be able to see that there's a pass that is going through to the backdoor cutting teammate of Caitlin Clark, who is then able to finish with the layup. Caitlin Clark is a very smart player, and so are her teammates. Now, in this case, Caitlin Clark gets the steal. And after she gets that steal right here, there are two options that she has. There is the correct decision, which is outletting the ball to whoever is going to be going out into outlet position. Or you need to dribble the ball either up the middle of the court or the side of the court, depending on what your strategy is as a team or individual. What she does right here is there is nobody in time in outlet positions. So Caitlin Clark, being a very smart player, dribbles up the middle of the court and crosses the middle. This is important. You don't always want to go up the middle because then you may be taking away the cutting lanes or driving lanes for the offensive players that are on your team. Right now, there is nobody on this side of the court, which means that that whole side of the court is open. And if they are not in position to get an early pass, you need to fill the 3 lanes, which is exactly what Caitlin Clark is doing right here. Caitlin Clark, I'm going to put this in slow motion, is able to take up that right lane, which then moves this defender out with Caitlin Clark. This defender is not in position, and there are two players here who have wide open lanes to the basket. Caitlin Clark then leads the pass to the lead player with a bounce pass even, and this was able to then get Caitlin Clark the assist, and this, in my opinion, should have been a travel. Let's actually go back and check if this was actually a travel. So at this time, once this player receives the ball right there in the air, next step is gather. That is 0 step right there. So that's 0. Next is 1 step. After that is 2 steps. In the NBA and also in FIBA basketball, which is what the entire world uses except for the United States, you are allowed 2 steps with a 0, and that is a clean layup, not a travel. I know there was some people online saying that's a travel. Oh, and there is this right here, and if you don't know how to use a screen, this is a perfect example as to how to use a screen. So, you've got your teammate who is coming down to set that screen. You kind of have a little bit of momentum going in your direction, and you are faced with a defender who is on their heels. That defender then cheats slightly over top, or at least is moving their body weight over towards this side. You attack the opposite, you deny the screen, and in this case, you attack the basket. And because Caitlin Clark is a master at getting in front of the player who she is driving on, she is then able to finish at the rim, being essentially uncontested, but then getting the foul. I hope that these tips help you become a better basketball player. If they do, hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below, because that is going to be able to help you shoot for the ball from further and further away.